Welcome to Sisterhood Check-in. I am your coach, Nadira Lewis, and it is Friday. Woo! Thank God we are here on another Friday in 2023 here on Sisterhood Check-in. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are watching us via YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching us via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, please make sure you hit like and share if you are blessed by the content that you have been receiving. Also, I wanted to let you know that Facebook has allowed us to now be able to give stars for watching our content. So if you're enjoying the conversation that I am having today with my guest on today or any other time that I am on Sisterhood Check-in, make sure you give us some stars and let us know how much you appreciate us. Excuse me, I'm fixing my mic. It's coming apart over here, but we're gonna keep going. So I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. I hope you guys had a terrific week. I sure had some things I was able to get done this week. So I am excited about that. And I hope you were able to get some things done too. This is a new year. So this year we are trying to get some things done and accomplished. We are not going to procrastinate on the things that we know we need to get done in order to see changes that we have declared, whether in our resolution, in our goals, or whatever it is. We want to make sure that this year we are intentional with everything that we are doing throughout the year. So we're going to go ahead and play this video real quick. But after I play this video, the next person you'll see alongside of me is Khadijah Johnson. She is our special guest today on Third Fridays. What I plan to do is have a panel of guests that are here to discuss different topics and issues outside of the other Fridays that we have in a month, where we'll be giving testimonials from different women that are sharing their stories about what they have overcome, different things they have gone through. But on the Third Fridays, we will have what's called a open forum, or what I call a group panel session, where we will discuss different things that are going on in the world and give our opinions about it, and talk about solutions and things that we can do to avoid or change some of the things that are going on in our surroundings. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. And then after this, we're going to bring on my special guest and give me a chance to fix this mic that's falling down. Our special guest, Khadijah Johnson.
Sometimes it's not enough to be reminded that Jesus hasn't left you or forgotten you. We need to declare it over ourselves, over others. No matter the season you may find yourself in, no matter the depths of darkness you're wading through, you can join him in declaring the truth that God is light upon your feet, whether or not you can see the next step, that God is your strength, even though the weight of life seems to be crushing you down. And that when your job, your marriage, your relationship, your health feels like it's coming to a dead end, there is only one God that can make dead things live again. These are his promises, and they're the only thing you need to declare over your life. So as you step into this next season or this next moment, you can declare that God's not done with you. He's just getting started. You can declare that the good work that he has started in you, he will surely complete it. You can declare that the same God that parted the seas goes before you, goes behind you. You can declare these promises over your life, over your family's life, over the people passing on the street. You can declare these truths over every circumstance, over every season of your life. You can declare that every day belongs to him and every new breath belongs to him. Because we have the power of a living God living inside of us. And this is our declaration.
And we are back with my special guest, Khadijah Johnson. Welcome back to Sisterhood Check-in. How are you, girlfriend?
I am well. I am well. And thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing good. Just trying to fix this mic, girl. You know, this mic, 1 minute it works okay, and then the next minute I gotta find another spot to put it to get a. So I'm working on getting the mic done. So if y'all see me moving around, that's what I'm doing. I'm fixing the mic. I'm fixing the mic, y'all. Fixing the mic. But today, Khadijah, we had an amazing conversation today about some. We always tend to talk about current events and different things that are going on. But today, you and I were really stirred up. We have been, there's different people that we follow, that we listen to, to find out different things. But wow, it just seemed like this particular time we actually was listening to someone, and you had called me and we were talking about it, and I was just like, my mouth was like stuck wide open because of some of the things that I was hearing. Not
Mm-hmm.
because we're not perfect and we as believers sometimes don't go through things and have different things that we do in our life that we need to ask God to help us and forgive us with. But man, this kind of stirred up a conversation with us where we were just talking about how important it is as believers to make sure that our life is lining up with the things
Right.
that we believe and the things that we deem to be right or righteous or holy. And it just made me sick, when I thought about it, because I thought, oh my gosh, like thinking about the fact that when we live our lives in disobedience to God and we don't do what God has designed us to do, or we don't live our life according to the way He's designed us to live, it really makes a huge difference. And so that's why I named the topic today, living in your truth. And when I
Right.
say living in your truth, I'm specifically saying living according to the convictions that you have in your life, because most of the time we're always declaring, making resolutions about what we're going to do to change and how we're going to change our life. But in order for us to be able to make the necessary changes in our lives that we want, we first have to be aware of where we
Mm-hmm.
are emotionally, where we are spiritually, um, how we're thinking, how we're making choices. We can declare all the changes and New Year's resolutions and saying we're going to be a better person and do things different, but until we're able to identify realistically where we are, those changes can't take place.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? What do you think about that?
You're absolutely right. Just holding true to your own convictions, and sometimes it's hard for people to see that. You could
Mhm.
tell a person all the time or say something, but it takes them a minute to maybe realize it, or whatever the circumstance. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think because and the only reason why I'm saying that is because I was just thinking about some of the things that we do and some things we're known for. People look at us and they expect, especially if you're in a position of influence or leadership,
Right.
they expect you to live a certain life. They expect
Hmm.
you to have a certain conviction about the way you live and the way you do things and how you make decisions. And we can't do that if we're living a life that is contrary to what we say we believe or what we have convictions about. And when I think about the scripture that says we overcome by the blood of the lamb and by the word of our testimony, a lot of the times we don't really value the lessons that we gain through the tests that we go through. So we're not really sharing our testimony even in an authentic authentic perception, because what's happening is we're telling people all the great things, and we're telling people all the things that sometimes we did not even walk through, but we desire to walk through, and we're not being transparent with where we are now. And so what happens is that's why we fight things like imposter syndromes. That's why we deal with different situations where we're feeling like we're struggling with becoming the person that we know we are designed to be. Is because we haven't taken account of where we are now and taking realistic approaches to make sure, because we think that we're going to do everything on our own, and it's just not. I think God created us for relationships, and he created us so that he didn't put everything in one person. I think when you connect with different people pull different things out of you. I think when you're around different people will hold you accountable, especially if they're people that love God and know and really have a genuine heart for you. They're going to hold you accountable to the things that you say that you stand for, or the things that you say that you desire to do.
Right. You said something else?
No. So I was just
Oh, okay. What now? You know, I mean, even with that statement, even with us, not or covering up like what's really going on with us on the inside. And I think it's because we want sometimes you want people to look at you a certain kind of way. So because you want people to look at you a certain kind of way, you really
Mhm,
don't, even though you know the issue is there, you
mhm,
cover that issue up because you're trying to portray this particular person or this particular persona or whatever the case may be.
mhm,
And so what happens is, because sometimes we could flow in a thing for so long that we never deal with it within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm,
whatever it may be, whether it's
mhm,
whatever it could be, that is really holding you back because some people flow in the gift of a counterfeit. That's the other thing I could think of. And I'm not talking about
mhm.
relationships. I'm talking about being a counterfeit to yourself, and not being your authentic self, but because of other people, because of surroundings, because of connections, because of, whatever. So, yeah, I think that's one reason why people don't really value the testimony that really could come out of, yeah, I've been hurt. Not only that,
Mm,
yeah, I did this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Back in my day, I was this. Back in my day, I used to call myself a hoochie mama. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, no, that's negative. No, I can't even like the attention. You know what I'm saying? Back
Yeah.
then, the attention was like, ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. But now, I can. It makes me so uncomfortable for somebody to be staring at me for a long time. I get so uncomfortable. I just walk away, turn my head. You know what I'm saying? But people look at, they be like, when I tell people sometimes, the things that I've been through or what I've gone through, some people be like, what? You used to, you? Not you? Yeah, you used to be valid. Yeah, I was back in the day. But you know what I'm saying? It helps somebody and they respect you
Yeah.
more. Either they're gonna talk about you or they're gonna respect you.
Yeah.
That is your truth. And it also brings, when you deal with your truth, it also brings a healing inside of you because no matter what other people try to bring up, look, I already dealt with that. Even if I don't tell you, I've dealt with that in myself, within myself.
Mm. And sometimes people know. Sometimes it can be, you can tell when somebody is dealing with something already, because the humility that comes with acknowledging what people say that they see. It's like, yeah, that's something I'm dealing with. Or sometimes it's like when you talk about it and when you discuss, like, yeah, this is something that I've been through. I understand that process. It's the humility that you carry when it comes to talking to other people who are going through the same thing, which is why I really enjoy talking to people about their life experiences and things that they go through, because I believe if we pay attention, to some of the things that we go through, and we really pay attention to the lessons and the things that we're supposed to learn during the things that we go through, it can become a survival guide for somebody else. I was listening to somebody and they was talking about something that was happening to another family member in their life, and they were going on and they were just talking about so much so, and it grieved my spirit, because I started to think to myself, like, man, you know, there's just some basic principles about when it comes to dealing with certain things that's just as a believer are foundational,
Mhm.
that are just foundational. And so when we try to be spiritual outside of those foundational principles, it just doesn't seem right. So anyway, you and I were talking earlier, we were talking about the whole thing. Everybody's probably already been talking about the thing with, we're not going to pretty much say names for the sake of,
Right.
these
A
people.
blogger.
But
Blogger?
right,
Blogger?
but you and I were discussing a particular person that was
Mhm.
in leadership, and they were and the person had came out and wanted to discuss what some of the things that the other leader had did inappropriate to them, and how they had went through, and I didn't tell you this, that I saw they went through a 10-year healing process of
Wow.
being of
Mhm.
it was 10 years of going through the process of overcoming that, right? Overcoming the sexual abuse, and um seeing how sometimes, you forget things. You think you can go on with your life, you do things to people, and you go on with your life, and you don't realize at some point you're going to be accountable for your actions
Right.
if you don't repent.
Yeah.
If you don't repent for some of the things that you've done, God will allow you to be exposed, and you will be dealt with publicly or in an embarrassing way if you don't deal with those situations in private. And
Right, right.
so this particular person allegedly had did some things inappropriately to another young man, and now this young man is now sharing his truth, right? About
Right.
what he went through,
Mhm.
and how the process of what he had to go through. And it was just really grieving. Not that, we're not human and things don't happen to us, and we don't sometimes catch ourselves in things that we don't have no business being a part of. But what really bothered me is when we deny. We don't know we don't know how freeing it is when you acknowledge, hey, I messed up. I did some things that was inappropriate or that was wrong. I messed up, you know.
Right.
And because I messed up, this is my way of trying. This is my way of reconciling what I did to you. Even the Bible says, if that when we do something wrong to somebody, you that are if you see a person overtaken in I believe in sin, I forgot exactly how the scripture goes. It says, you that are
Mhm.
spiritual, restore such a one. And so sometimes we want restoration without acknowledgement of what we've done. you
Right.
know Sometimes we want people to just hurry up and forgive us, and not deal with the situation that brought us here in the first place.
Mhm.
So it's the same thing, like I said in the opening of the broadcast, when I said sometimes we want to talk about change, but we don't want to talk about the things. We don't want to talk about where we are and the things that has to take place. And sometimes in order for change to take place, you got to go back and apologize. Sometimes you got to go back and make some things right.
Right.
Sometimes you got to go back to
I
people and
think
say, hey, if you can, because there's some situations where you just can't, and you can't control that. But there are some situations where you just need to go back and say, you know what? Maybe I dealt with that wrong. I apologize for that. Maybe I offended you and didn't really know that I really offended you, or I didn't think that what I said really affected you the way it did. And I apologize for that. Because when we get to a point where we start feeling like that we could just do things and say things and not be accountable, then we can't really walk in truth. We only can walk in what we perceive to be truth, and that's deception.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think sometimes, a person has to deal with the pride of a man. And in this particular situation, as I was listening, I think it happened like over 20 years ago. And I think what made it so crazy was that even in this particular situation, um, that one the person um denied it
Mhm.
or whatever, but they also and I guess it happens throughout life. Even, I don't I don't want to say every believer is like perfect or whatever, but for this person to be, a minister of the gospel and still doing this. And I think sometimes when, even with us as just individual people, when we get away with stuff so much, we
Mhm.
just do it. It just becomes
Mhm.
like second nature to us. And then when we get caught, because we've like saying before, when we get caught, we already portrayed this life and this thing to other people, to whereas it's hard for us to backpedal, like you said, and say, hey man, you know what, I'm sorry. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But it's like you have to try to cover up, you know, your past, because it's like you're dinging all of these people. In my book, in one of my books, this is a sidebar. In one of my books, in my only book, I'm still writing the other way. But in Seeing You from a Distance Made Me Cuckoo, it's a message in there.
Yes, it
It was
is. I really
it's
enjoyed that book.
a long time ago, I judged this lady. She was a minister. She was preaching. She was doing whatever, whatever, right? But she was out there fornicating, and she
Mhm.
was married. And I was like,
Oh.
"How in the world? I would never. Oh my gosh! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's not scripture. That's not this. That's not that." And I wind up finding myself not with a married man, but doing the same exact thing. Doing the
Mm.
same exact thing. And so it's like you have to, before you start judging somebody, you really have to take a look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that, like, oh, it's okay to do whatever, but I am saying that maybe we just have to have some grace on people. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Grace, and then
Mhm.
realizing yourself that you're deemed to fall just as that other person fell. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're deemed to do
Mhm.
that same thing just as somebody else has done it, but you can't be out here judging people or judging the church, because I was like, oh girl, I was all in my religious hat. You know what I'm saying? I was
Mhm.
throwing stones and everything towards this particular person, and winded up in it doing the same thing. And I think that one of the things about this particular person is that this joker was knocking churches left or right, knocking pastors, churches, people, everything. But yet and still, he was still in his own mess. And God will. I always tell people, I say, everything you do in the light, dark is going to come to the light. That's scriptural, right? And also that God is not going to allow you to continue to minister to his people and not get exposed for your own wickedness. When I did all of that, I was a youth minister. I was in church, girl. I was doing all this stuff like that. And God allowed me, even after that situation, and I got exposed. I got exposed. This lady saw me. She
Mm.
said, oh, what's that? I had one of them little hickey things on your neck. She said, what's that on your neck?
She's one of them hood hickey things.
She said, what's that on your neck? And I was so embarrassed. It's in my book. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, dang. I was like, man, a righteous man falls 7 times, but the thing is to get back up. And when I
Mhm.
got back up, I didn't look back. I was like, I can't be doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, but it just reminded me, and so I said all that to say is that God allowed this person's darkest secret to come up because you're out here
Mm.
portraying that you're
Mm.
this, you're that, you're this, you're that. You're out here talking about different churches, pastors, all of this other thing, and you're right in the same boat as the people that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think, when I thought about what happened with this in this situation, when this person had actually had been the offender, you know, and the person, he had been the offender to the person, and when the person actually addressed it the person for what they did, for what he had did to them, his response was a lawsuit. And I thought, what? It's
Not
like,
an apology. Well, we don't
not.
know if he's never apologized in his life. I don't
Well, he
know.
did. Well, according to some of the documents, there was an apology.
Okay.
But it the but it was like the way it was done was almost like to it was almost like to in a hush hush mode, not necessarily because now this person, they have a huge following, they have people that give to what they do, to their
Yeah.
particular industry. So it does, the first response is to guard whatever assets they have, right? So when you
Mhm.
feel like you're getting ready to lose something, then you think about your assets because you think about your family and things like that. But when I say living your truth, I mean that all of us are going to be doing things because none of us are without a day where we don't have to ask God to forgive us for something that we do
Right.
or say. But my thing is that I think when we don't live in our truth, we want change. We ask God to change us. We ask God to do to manifest certain things in our lives. But what happens is we don't even acknowledge that we need help in those particular areas. We don't acknowledge
Yeah.
that there's an issue. But what we do is we try to hide it, we try to avoid it, we try to overlook it
Yeah.
and make it seem like it's not a problem.
You know,
And then what
sometimes
happened?
go ahead.
Mhm.
Oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But sometimes I think too is that um reason sometimes we don't want to address it or acknowledge it because it may be too painful for from
Oh
saying
yeah, I'm sure. Oh
within
yeah. Oh
ourselves,
yeah.
I'm saying,
Oh
like,
yeah.
you don't want to bring up the fact that maybe when you
Oh
were
yeah.
2 years old or 3 years old or 10 or
Yeah.
15 years old that, hey, my family member or somebody molested me, or or whatever, or
Yeah.
abused me, or
Yeah.
my family was an alcoholic, or what I'm saying, or I was,
Mhm.
some stuff is just too painful and they mask it.
Mhm. But even if you don't have to do it, not everything has to be done publicly, you know.
No, I'm talking about within themselves. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's like you could it was a longer time ago, but some stuff like within my family, when you try to bring up stuff, it's like, oh no, that's too painful. I don't want to deal with
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because back then, a lot of the times when things were happening as we were younger, they didn't talk about stuff like that. They didn't
Mhm.
talk about
Yeah.
molestation. They didn't talk about things like that because it was you didn't want to bring shame on your family. So it or whoever
Mhm.
the close friend was, so you didn't deal with it. And so what happens is because of the things that happened in the past, you start building your life choices and you start doing things based on what your past experiences are. And then you think, man, how did I pick this up? Like, how did this spirit, how did I become exposed to this spirit? It's almost like what Lenine said in her book, being involuntarily exposed, to things that you may have seen or been a part of when you were in your young age and you didn't have any idea, but yet being exposed. And when I heard the details of what happened, I thought, wow, you know,
I can
and
imagine.
just the manipulation
Yeah.
that was done before. It's almost
Yeah.
like he was prepping the person's mind before he actually committed the act. He prepped
Yeah.
their mind as if he was letting him know this is what I'm getting ready to do. So let me go
Right.
ahead and manipulate. That was just like it just made me almost like nauseous. I was like sick to my stomach.
Mhm.
And it really made me look at my own life really honestly and say, God, I don't want anything secretly or openly in my life that can be causing me to cause another person to fall, whether
Right.
it's knowingly or unknowingly, because
Right.
sometimes we can do things that are knowingly. We ain't always dumb when we do things. Sometimes we do things
Right.
because we just plain out our flesh just wants to do it, you know
Mhm.
and my desire has when I seen that, I just started to pray like, Lord, don't let me be the reason somebody falls. Don't
Yeah.
let me be the reason that somebody turns their back against God because of something that I did or something that I said. We don't
Mhm.
realize that we destroy our witness sometimes when we do and say things that causes people to look at God in a way and they're like, if God is anything like you, I don't want anything to do with him, you know.
Right, right,
And
right.
so, you know, it's just one of those things where I just sit back and I'm just constantly evaluating my life and constantly asking God to show me areas of my life that I can be better at. Not only just be better at, just desiring to be better, but show me where I am so that I can put in the necessary steps to make sure that those changes take place. And I'm not just talking it, but I'm actually walking it, you know. And so yeah, that's some of the things that I've been praying about. We're going to take a quick break, and before we when we come back from our break, we're going to continue on with this topic about living in your truth. We want you to engage with us. So if you are make sure you put in the comments and let us know where you're watching from, and let us know how you feel about living in your truth. Listening to the first half with me and Khadijah talking, let us know how you feel. We want to engage with you. Tonight is open forum and we want to hear your thoughts. So we'll be right back after this.
I want you to remember that God's created everything you see. He breathed it into existence. You remember when his people were caught up in slavery? He rescued them. What he did was he parted the sea and he made a way for them, and then he delivered their enemies to them, and he unlocks wombs, and he provides water from a rock, and he provides manna from heaven, and he brought down the walls of Jericho. He froze the sun, allowing victory. He's toppled giants with tiny stones. He's brought fire from heaven. He's shut the mouths of lions. He preserved life in the belly of a well. He's fed thousands with a few loaves. He gives the weak strength. He heals the sick. He's made the blind see, the deaf hear, the mute speak, the lame walk, and he's overcome evil, and he's made a way through death for you and me by the death and the resurrection of his son, Jesus Christ, that we will live with him forever. We will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and ever and ever. What are we afraid of? His resume is flawless. He controls everything. And he loves you.
I did a broadcast a couple of months ago, and I was saying how if you don't operate in your season, you're useless. So, and I gave the example of the fig tree, right? And I said that how Jesus cursed the fig tree because it was time. IBG Careers is looking for customer service representatives needed to service their customers from home. If you're interested, please apply at www.ibgcareers.com.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time.
I've done some terrible things in my life.
Some of them I chose to do.
And I own these choices.
But others, I just feel like I was swept up in a series of circumstances that didn't involve my will.
They just sort of happened to me.
I've become the culmination of those choices and circumstances.
So I guess I just need to say it.
I really need some help.
Hi, I'm Nadira Lewis, author, life, and business coach, and founder of the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Academy. I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. I also believe that just like hurt people, transform people can transform people too. Make sure you book a call with me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com, and I'll see you on the other side of victory.
right, we are back here with Dinner with the Coaches with my special guest, Khadijah Johnson, real estate what do you call it? Real estate mogul or what do you call it? Real estate. What I forgot the word I wanted to use. The real estate lady, the real estate lady, the real estate lady, the real estate lady.
God help us, Jesus. It's too funny. You tried. I sure love you, girl. You so
I know, right? The mogul, the real estate mogul. Well, we are back here in Sisterhood Check-in, and if you are just now joining us, we had talked the first half. Our topic today is living in your truth. In the first half, we talked about in order for us to become the person that we have declared that we're going to be in the year 2023, that we have to first acknowledge where we are. Because how can we say that we want to get to a specific location without first identifying where we are, right? When you identify where you are, you can then work towards where you need to be. So we are going to talk about in our second half. We're gonna let Khadijah share with us some of the things that she have implemented in her life and in her business that help her to see some of the things that she has already declared that she want to see in her life in 2023. What are some things, Khadijah, that you do on a day-to-day basis to help you meet your desired goals for 2023, both spiritually and
I have
financially?
well, one of the things you do, like you said, you have to acknowledge your truth and you have to acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
exactly where you are. And so, one of the things I did with myself is acknowledge exactly where I am in life. And
Mm-hmm.
then that helps you push you to where you want to be or the goals that you have. So, like I gained 20 pounds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gained my
Mm-hmm.
20 pounds. And so one of the things is that I have to eat different, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
to work out more to get to the goal of where I want to be. So one is
Mm-hmm.
being consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to
Mm-hmm.
shift your mindset. Well, I did anyway. I had to shift my mindset and say, okay, I need to stop this to actually live a healthy life. Like I'm almost 50 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
to even get a better life, I have to eat different. Work out, of course. I can't be lackadaisical as before and be consistent. I think the hardest thing for me was to actually commit to be consistent. And
Mm-hmm.
it takes discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
every day you got to get up and in your brain and you got to be like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. Okay, no, you can't get this today. No, you cannot eat 10 Oreo cookies or, a row of Oreo cookies
Mm-hmm.
or or finish the pack of Oreo cookies in 2 to 3 days.
Help
You
us,
can't.
Lord. Especially when you talking to people on the phone and you answer the phone on FaceTime and they got a pack of cookies in front of your face and you hungry. Thought I should just throw that in.
We're the worst. We are the worst. We are the worst with that. But so those are some things that starting 2023, actually, the end of 2022 to 20, going into 2023 is just looking at myself and implementing consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is a drive. When you've been in a
Mm,
place for so long,
mm,
like I've
mm.
worked over 20. Oh my God. I had a job since I was 15. Now I'm like 40 now. I'm not 40. I'm almost 50. So I'm 49. So I've had a job forever. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the drive to work your business has to
Mm,
I have to have that drive because I'm so used to, that every day you get your pay, every week you get paid or whatever, that part of it. So drive, consistency, and a shift in the mindset. Those are the three things
mm.
implemented.
And without that shift in the mindset, none of those things can work. I think
Mm.
for me, I think with me, I so totally agree. When you've been working so much all your life. It's like you work to get to a particular place financially, and it's like now I want to be at a place where I want to embrace every moment, because I realize life changes just like that.
Yeah.
You could be here today and gone tomorrow. And
True.
so for me, I spent so much time trying to be busy, making sure that I was doing everything that I was supposed to do instead of slowing down. Now I'm at a point where I'm slowing down and I'm starting to do things more, put more of my attention towards things that matter more.
Intentional.
So because we could spend all of our time doing all kinds of things, but I'm telling you, for the past couple of days I've been just sleeping. I've been tired, and I realized that my brain is always going, even when I'm up and about and I'm doing things, my brain is just constantly going. And I said, I don't want to spend the middle part of my life. I'm going to be 49 in like 2.5 weeks, day before Valentine's Day, February 13th. I'm going to be 49.
49 club.
49.
Have a
Yes, I'm
Christmas
almost
birthday
entering
party
50.
together.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. But I'm embracing, I'm not waiting till I'm 50 to celebrate another year of life. I'm celebrating every time I hit the floor and I wake up. I'm wanting, to me, it's like now I'm like, okay, what do I need to do today that's really going to matter? Because we can get so busy, and we think, especially when you become an entrepreneur, you tend to get busy and you feel like you're doing something. When you busy, you feel like you are doing something. You are getting those goals accomplished. But what I'm realizing is that I don't want to spend all of my life trying to be something and instead of just being it. I want to be able to embrace the moment with my children. I want to be able to embrace where they are now. I want to be able to embrace where I am now, because I don't want to look back with any regrets. I don't want to look
Right.
back and say, oh man, I wish I would have done this different. Oh man, I wish I would have did this. I am learning things about myself. I'm learning about my own needs, learning about things that I desire, learning to decide what is really important now and what are some things I can really put off, or what are some things I need to change. What are some things I need to put a pep in my step in. And organization is my thing. I have been really like on myself about organization down to the little things, because I realize that when you have things in order, you think clearly. And when you think clear, when there's clarity across the board, to me, it's like a different quality of life, a quality of living, you know. Then you start to realize that, you don't have to put so much emphasis on things that don't even really matter. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so for me, I realized that I was a busybody. I
Right.
was a busybody. I have multiple different businesses, and I'm always doing multiple different things. And sometimes at the end of the day, when I look back at the week, I'm thinking, what did you do for you? What did you do to improve the quality of your life, your mental health? Because you can improve the quality of your business, you can improve the quality of your parenting, but what are you doing to improve the quality of your mental health? What are you doing that you could, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be stuck with you. What are you doing for you that when you get up, because if my motivation is my business, guess what? When the business doesn't do what I need it to do, then I'm going to be disappointed, right? My
Mhm.
motivation comes from inside. It's the drive that I have on the inside to be better, to be able to make sure that I slow down and acknowledge the little things. And I remember Sharonda had said this some years ago, and I never forgot it. It still holds in my head. And she said, sometimes you have to slow down and you have to enjoy things as, the little things. And that has been one of my key goals, is getting things in order so that I can slow down and
Yeah.
be able to embrace and really live, because some of us are not really living. We're surviving, but we're not thriving. You know, we're not, we're working and we're bringing in income, but our children are growing up without us. Our children are raising themselves. Our husbands, those that are married are neglected. Or the wives are neglected because we put so much emphasis on things instead of embracing the people that we have in front of us. Because guess what? Your business is going to be there today, tomorrow. But guess what? You're not qualified. You're not necessarily guaranteed to be here the next day, you know.
That's
And at
true.
and at the end of the day, what I realize is that it's when you lose people in your family, or when things happen to you, like recently, my brother, had an incident and scared all of us, and we were just horrified because we had just lost the aunt, and it was like literally I was frantic because I was like, oh my gosh, this is my brother. I don't want anything to happen to him, right? But what it did was it helped me realize what really is important. You can build businesses all over the world, you can do all kinds of things, but we need to slow down sometimes and pay attention to our friends and families and loved ones that are in the midst of us, because they're not promised to be here tomorrow, or you're not promised to be here. So what legacy are you leaving outside of finances? We do need to leave a legacy of finances. But one of the things I said at my aunt's funeral is that we need to be leaving a legacy of more than just finances. We need to be leaving a legacy of pictures, memories. You know what I'm saying? When my aunt passed away, the most important thing that mattered to me was the pictures, and
Yeah.
being able to go back and go back and recall those memories. The
Yeah.
pictures are legacies, our love legacies. How are we known? How have we been loving our families? How have we been loving our children? That's a legacy. Leaving your love, leaving your wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of, can your children look back and say, my mom gave me wisdom in this area, or show me wisdom in this particular area? There's more things to leave in legacy besides just, or books, your libraries. What are you reading? What are you feeding your spirit, man? What are you feeding your mind? On a day-to-day basis. If you're feeding yourself negativity all day long, then guess what? That's what you're going to leave behind. That's what's going
Right.
to come out of that's what's going to be the forefront of your conversation, negativity, you know. But when I started to think about that, I said, man, I really have to, slow down.
Yeah.
Learning how to take care, and taking care, having self-care is not just about making yourself look a certain way, but being able to slow down and take care of yourself is so that you can be, that God has planted you here to do some things on the earth and to make impact, right?
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that while you're here, that you're in the best possible mental state, physical shape,
Mhm.
that you could be in to fulfill those purposes that God has for you.
Right.
And
True.
so those are some of the things that I have been looking at. I have been evaluating where I am, because
Mhm.
in order for me to be able to clearly head in the direction that I want to go, um, I need to be able to see where I am. I need to see what changes need to be done and taking place so that I can make sure that those things manifest. And I have like a vision board like in my room, and it has everything from relationships to spiritual things to financial things.
Mm.
I have a plan
Yeah.
on where I want to see myself, and a lot of the things I've been able to check off,
That's
because I've been consistent, I've been persistent, and I just can't wait to be able to it's not so much the destination, but it's the journey to the destination that's the most important thing. And I used to tell my daughter that all the time. I used to tell her, sometimes it's not just about getting to where you need to be. Sometimes it's the lessons that God shows you on the journey of you becoming the person
yeah.
that you need to be, because you
Mm.
take those lessons with you when you get to where God wants you to be. You take those lessons with you, and those lessons help make and shape the person that you become.
Yeah. Mhm.
Would you agree?
I do agree. Mhm. Yeah, I do.
So, if you are watching us, whether it's on a replay or you are watching live, tell us some things that you have decided. Just how you sometimes have the little personal jokes in your head, and you just start
Uh-huh.
laughing. And don't nobody know the joke but you, and you just start cracking
They
up
just
laughing.
like people be like, "What you laughing at?"
I just had a personal joke in my head and it just cracked me up. But if you are watching us live or watching us via replay, tell us some of the things that you are implementing in your day to day life that is helping you push you towards your goals for 2023. And your goals doesn't have to always be the same goals as Khadijah's or the same goals as mine, but we wouldn't mind hearing what are your goals for you for
Right.
2023? What are some things that you desire to see in your life? What changes do you want to see take place in your life, both physically and spiritually? Because believe it or not, I mean, at the end of the day, the only one that's going to be the only thing is only person that's going to really matter is us. Other people, you can share it with us, but you're the receiver of the change. You're the one that has to be motivated to change. You're the one that has to be able to see yourself in a different place. I can't motivate you. Nobody can motivate you. Motivation has to come from the inside, you know.
Mm.
And so there's just some things that I'm just doing, in terms of personal growth, personal development, that I'm pushing myself outside of my limits, outside of my comfort zone, so that I can see, because you are not going to get to a different level that you want to be in life without getting outside of your comfort zone. Man, sometimes it takes you really stepping out of your comfort zone to really become the person that you see in the mirror or the person that you dream about becoming. It's like when I think about the person that I'm becoming, ooh, let me tell you something, Deej. I know there's going to take some work. I
Sure.
know
We
there's
know
going to
that.
take some work, but I'm
Mm.
motivated. I'm
Yeah.
motivated. And so, I just pray that God give me strength, because I already see, I know what it's going to take for me to get there. And
Yeah.
so it's just, but seeing myself there, like Jesus said, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. I'm enduring some things because I know I see the end. And I know
Mm.
that when I turn around and I see how far I've come, and I see where I'm going to end up, the journey doesn't seem to be as bad. The only thing I need is strength to keep going sometimes when it gets to be overwhelming. So, but
That's good. Mhm.
yeah. So for those of you that are watching, if you have a testimonial or if you have some things that you want to share with the Sisterhood Check-in audience on Fridays, make sure you send me an inbox to becoming a woman of Proverbs at gmail.com. I would love to be able to share your testimonial with us here and see some of the things that you have gone through, some of the things that you have overcome, so that we can be inspired, by some of the things that you have gone through, so that we can look at you and be like, man, if God did it for her, he'll do it for me. So
Yeah.
I also wanted to make aware too, it's 2023. I had created a uh planner and prayer journal. Well, this
Mm.
prayer journal, it's 80 pages long, and
Wow.
it's amazing. It has everything from aspirations, everything from prayer requests. So I always say it's like planning your day with God, because you have the opportunity to plan your life and be able to plan your day. Be able to put your thoughts in, record your thoughts at the same time. So it is pretty amazing. So make sure you go to my website, womanofproverbscoaching.com, and get your copy today. Also, I wanted to also make you aware before we end the broadcast, is if you are interested and you want to be able to make more money in the area of trading, I do have a Facebook group called Passive Income with Nadira, where I am teaching people how to trade without the hustle. If you want to learn how to add trading to your sources of income without having to the struggle of learning the analytics of trading, but you want to be able to learn trading to be able to make a side income for you and your family, make sure you go to bit.ly/no hustle trading and sign up for our free Facebook group so that you can learn how to trade without the hustle. Thank you, Khadijah, so much for
You're
joining me
welcome.
tonight. I
welcome.
always enjoy our conversations. And
Yes.
ladies, each of every third Friday, we are going to be having a panelist of women that are going to be on just to talk about different things, different issues, life events, outside of the other Fridays of hearing other women's testimonials. We're just gonna This is gonna be like our open forum. So if you would like to join our open forum, send me a message, inbox me on Facebook, or you can inbox me on Instagram, YouTube. Just let me know that you want to be on the forum, and we would love to be able to have you. But girl, I'm telling you, I'm so full. Like, I'm telling you, like, every time I do Sisterhood Check-in, I be so excited before we start. And then I'm like
Oh,
sleepy halfway through.
oh, good God Almighty. I know that's right, but this used to be my bedtime, and I'm up a little bit. But I did want to reiterate, just know that whenever you watch this or replay it, and you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about leaving a legacy for your kids, most
Mm-hmm.
people don't look at the legacy of wisdom, the legacy of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, the
Mm-hmm.
legacy of love, the legacy of peace. They don't
Mm-hmm.
realize that because most people take monetary things and they feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
the only legacy. But you could give a person
Mm-hmm.
something monetary and they could destroy it. So
Right.
just be
Right.
mindful that even if you don't have the thing of substance, you have the thing of the heart. This lady used to tell me, she said, "Girl, you don't have no testimony. You ain't been through nothing." And da, 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 da.
Oh.
I was like, you know what? I may have not been through anything physical, but a
Mm.
sound mind is my testimony.
Mm.
My peace at heart is a
Ooh,
testimony.
wait a minute. Hold
You
up. You
got
said a sound mind is
yes.
my testimony. Ooh, that's deep. That's
Hmm.
deep.
Yeah. So I just want to leave people with
Mm.
it doesn't always have to be tangible to be
Mm-hmm.
effective. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
God looks at
Yes.
the inward is more valid than the
Mm.
outward.
Mm. Dang. I like that. Testimony of peace. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world give I unto you. It's amazing because peace is something, the older I get, I appreciate peace even the more. The
Ooh,
more I
yes.
seek it,
God. Yes, Lord.
because I don't think you really value it till you get older and you realize, wow, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
an age thing or what, but
I don't know. It
um
seems to me it seems like it. Like the older you get, the more you like, man, I done been through all this. I don't want to do nothing. Just Lord, give me peace. Peace with
give
every
me peace.
situation. You don't want to engage no more.
Mm,
You just
mhm.
yeah, you don't want to
I remember
worry.
I heard one pastor say peace is a kingdom. It's a kingdom initiative. And I thought, wow, that's deep right there. Peace is a kingdom initiative. You can have a type of peace, but when you have the Prince of Peace, that's a
Mm,
different type of peace. That's an eternal peace. That's a peace that surpasses all understanding, that keeps your heart and your mind, you know.
mm,
And so yeah, I think the older I get, the more I realize, the more I value having a peace of mind, having peace in my home, having peace among my family, because nobody want to walk around in chaos. Nobody want to
mm.
be walking around here, just chaotic all the time. Oh my God, I can't do it. I will shut down. I
Right.
before I let you disturb my peace, I will shut down, because I realize that when you have the peace of God, when you have peace of mind, it affects every area of your life. When you're not at peace, your whole life is upside down. You
Yeah,
feel like
that's
you're
true.
all over the place. So
Mm.
I tell you, I don't let anything disrupt my peace. If I start to feel like it's disrupting my peace, I immediately shut down to protect my peace of mind, because it's just something about when you get older, you embrace peace, you pursue it.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for watching us here on Sisterhood Check-in. We appreciate you. We have been going for a full hour. Thank you for all of those that constantly support Sisterhood Check-in. It is now 11 o'clock, and I am actually really sleepy.
You probably
I'm
need
like,
to sleep.
I am like
Yeah.
really, I'm like, I don't know. I've been just like, I can't stay up lately. Like lately, I've been struggling to stay up late. I used to be a person that could stay up late, but baby, I can't do it no more. It's like
Now, maybe by
once it gets
12, I might get that itis, that sleep itis, or maybe in a few minutes. But I'm all right now.
what?
I know, right? Girl, usually I'll be like,
What? Now,
I know.
usually you're the one that's usually this. How I know you get tired because you get sleepy and you be like, I'm the one like I'm like there's some nights I'll be like, Lord help me get through it because I'm a morning person. Now I get up in the morning, I'll be up early like that. But at nighttime, baby, let me tell you something. Nighttime, I be a whole nother person. I be ready to shut it down. So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you. Make sure you join Thomas and I on Sunday with Dinner with the Coaches as we continue to celebrate 2023 and be able to constantly make sure that we're doing everything that we need to do to make sure that we are manifesting the things that we desire to manifest in 2023. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you Sunday at 7 p.m. Hi. Do you have a testimonial that you would like to share here with the Sisterhood Check-in audience? We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you send me an email at becomingawomanofproverbs@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook at the @handle Woman of Prov. And we'd love to share and hear all the wonderful things that God has done in your life too. Have a wonderful day. I did a broadcast a couple of months ago, and I was saying how if you don't operate in your season, you're useless. So, and I gave the example of the fig tree, right? And I said that how Jesus cursed the fig tree because it was time. IBG Careers is looking for customer service representatives needed to service their customers from home. If you're interested, please apply at www.ibgcareers.com.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo, crunch time, shine time.